Hey everybody, this is David here, aka Chessman, and today is kind of a big deal. Um, I'm starting a new series, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm kind of nervous about it because I don't know how I'm going to really do it, and there's just so much I want to cover. And I just, it's gonna, it's probably gonna take like a couple thousand videos to be honest, and I don't know if it's something that I can ever completely finish, but it's going to take a long time. It's probably going to take years. Hopefully it'd be nice if it took months, but I just, if it's going to take a couple thousand videos and there's 365 days in a year, even if I made a video every day, it's still going to be like 8 years. Don't check my math. But okay, so basically this video is an introduction, and it's a reintroduction into chess openings. And it sounds boring, but I believe I believe chess. There's only so much we can do as a human being, and the rest we have to leave to our brain or to God or to yeah, basically the invisible, the stuff we don't understand how it works, like how you can like throw a dart and hit a bullseye, like how you can hit a basket shot, how you can play horseshoes or cornhole and hit the hole. Like those are amazing things, I think. But how do you do it? Like that's where the invisible like combines your brain and your muscles and your to do these amazing things. So there's only so much we can do, and I believe one thing we can do is study the openings. I think if we can master the chess openings, then that gives us basically like a 20, it helps about 25% to 33% of our game. If there's the beginning, middle and end phase of the game of chess, that means the beginning is the opening. So that's about a 33% of the game. So if we can master the opening, we can give ourselves the edge, and then leave the rest to our brains, to our the magic that is our brain, and just put ourselves in the best position to succeed. So I think our part is to study the openings, also the end games. That's you got to do that. You should do that as well. But I think most of the end games are like checkmates that you have to find over the board. There's there's a few end games that are well known that you should know, but most likely they're never going to show up in your game, or if they do, it may show up one time. So I just don't see the point. Like I think you should know them if you have time to learn them, but I think there's so much more information to know that it's hard to prioritize that first. I think you should know how to mate with two rooks, how to mate with a queen and rook, how to mate with uh, a queen and a king, or a rook and a king. I think those will show up in your game quite often. But beyond that, like you'll most likely never see a bishop and knight versus king scenario. So you probably never need to know it. But it's good to know it. So that's why I've been trying to look for a way to help the chess world, and I've been trying to find a way to make my mark, and I think I found it. Like so I'm going to do a real in-depth analysis on chess openings. And I'm going to cover well-known chess openings, and I'm going to cover the chess openings that aren't well-known. And I'm going to try to make a point that you can either play moves that are well-known and enjoy that there's lots of theory to look at, and and that's great. But if you come across another opponent that knows the theory as well, then you don't really get an advantage. Now, if you can play moves that aren't well known and you know them better than your opponent, which most likely you will, because okay, here's one of the first websites I'm going to show, 365chess.com. There's something called Chess Opening Explorer, and basically it shows all the moves that have been played. At least it all the moves that have been played at least over the board. I don't think this covers online games, but I could be wrong. but I think it's over the board games. So anyways, so for instance, e4 has been played 1,900,000 times. And I'm trying to think of what my point was. But I forgot what my point was. I was so excited. Let's see. Okay. Well, no, this is where I wish I was talking to an actual person, like in front of me, because they could remind me what I was saying a minute ago. Um. Anyways. Okay. I'm stuck. Okay, how do we get back on topic? Okay, so this Opening Explorer, one thing it does is it shows all the moves. Like there's 20 moves in the opening phase of chess, and it shows all of them from popularity. Now, what I have on the corner over here in this PGN in this notepad is all the openings, and what I did was I put each opening move into the analysis board on chess.com, and it told me what the rating is, and so I put it from highest to lowest. So this over here is telling us the moves in order of popularity. This is telling us the moves in order of what the engine likes. So over here there's also an engine evaluation. So E4 in this engine, it was given a plus 0.34 at a depth of 49. I use chess.com's analysis, and it didn't tell me what the depth was, so I don't know, but they use it for their game review. So I have to believe it's pretty good. So now the numbers change. So these numbers are not exact. But so basically the engine nowadays, it's pretty darn good, but it's still not perfect. It doesn't give us the exact number. But we don't need the exact number. We just need to know about what it is. So this E4 is about plus 0.36. So white has about a 0.36 advantage. If you have a 1-point advantage, that's basically like being up a pawn. So this is like being up a quarter of a pawn or a third of a pawn. So most likely, if everyone plays well, it's a draw. But white has a slight advantage. That's basically what this means. So we're trying to figure out which moves are the best and which moves are playable. Playable meaning they may not be the best, but they're still playable. Like you can still at least get a drawn position. And that's basically everyone. If you play well-known openings like E4 and D4, once you get to a certain level, your opponents are going to know the theory, and they're going to know how to make it into a drawn game, into a balanced game. I should say balanced. And so just because you have an initial 0.36 advantage, that's not going to mean anything. So that's why people might play openings that are lower rated, like maybe the English opening. It's only 0.15. But if your opponent doesn't know it, then you have the advantage, or you should have the advantage. You'll either get a positional advantage or you'll get a time advantage. Because if your opponent needs more time to think about their moves, then you're going to get ahead on the clock. If they don't and they play their moves fast, then most likely they're going to make mistakes. Once in a while, you'll find a person that plays fast and plays accurate moves, and then it's just an even game. That happens. But you're trying to get the advantage. In most of your games, you should get an advantage. Now, they may outplay you in the middle game and the end game, but at least in the opening, you'll be fine. So one question we're going to be trying to figure out through the process of analyzing this stuff, analyzing these openings, is which moves are playable. Now, the engine tells us right off what moves they think it's playable. So, for instance, okay, E4 is the most popular move, and it's given 0.36. Now, E3 is not the most popular move. Look at the list. It goes e4, d4, knight f3, c4, g3, f4, b3, knight c3, b4. Now we have e3. E3 has only been played in about 2,700 games versus 1,900,000. But the engine gives it a 0.23 advantage. It's only slightly less than e4. So that should tell us e3 is totally playable. It's almost as playable as e4. But there's a lot we don't understand. Maybe there's practical reasons why e3 is not very good. But I think if we know the opening, we're going to get a huge advantage if we play e3, or at least a balanced game. But we don't know. And that's what I'm going to try to figure out. Now, there's a lot of openings to cover. I don't know how soon I'll get to e3. If people start requesting, let's do e3, maybe I'll jump to it. But I'm not sure. It depends what I feel. You know, learning openings is kind of like learning songs on an instrument. There is so many to learn, and you choose ones that are sometimes difficult because you like the challenge. Sometimes you choose easy ones just so you can start playing and having fun. And sometimes you just choose ones that interest you. All of a sudden, you just like it for some reason. Like there's no real reason why you're picking it. It's making you feel good, or it's making you feel excited. So yeah, so that's going to happen at times. I'm just going to pick. Like for some reason, part of me wants to know what F4 is all about. Like this, it over here. It says it's 0.00. It's an even game, so you don't have an advantage as white, but still, if your opponent doesn't know it, it's only been played in 21,000 games. So I would like to know it. I'd like to, maybe as a surprise weapon. But we're probably going to be logical and start with the most well-played openings. Now, with e4 and d4, I'm going to do both. What I'm going to do is the theory that's out there on these two moves, because they're so popular, there's so much more theory. Like I'll give you an example. On this same site, 365chess.com, there's a chess openings mega index of all chess openings. I don't think they're all here, but it says they're all here. And it starts with chess openings with 1e4, and then it tells us apparently all of them. And so the point is, I'm going to cover all these in my videos, but this only covers e4 and openings with d4. After that, like for instance, it says c4, it just shows c4. And then knight f3, it just shows knight f3. And the King's Indian attack. Like it hardly shows anything. Openings with b3, there's nothing. So the point is, when I do e4 and d4, in some ways it's going to be easier because there's so much theory already. Besides e4 and d4, there's hardly anything. So it's going to take more effort because I'm going to have to invent them. I'm going to either have to find Grandmaster games where they play these moves and analyze them with the computer, or I'm going to have to just straight analyze the computer. What I'm probably going to do, like for instance, let's go with e3. E3, there's no opening information, not that I'm aware of. But what I'm probably going to do is type e3 into here, and I see all the moves that have been played, and I'm probably going to start there. I'm probably going to play each move into this analysis board and wait for it to give me a rating, and then I'm going to write it down. And then I'm going to provide a list like I have here, except it's going to be for that move, what I said, 1e3. So I'm not going to do it now because there's too much to do. Like it's and honestly, the engine thing, it takes too much computer power to do that and record videos at the same time, so my computer would probably freeze. It would probably go really slow. So it's better if I just do it off the board. But on the other hand, I'm telling you what I'm going to be doing because I also, if you feel ambitious and you want to do it yourself, then you can choose, instead of waiting for me to come up to analyze the certain opening that you want to look at, you can just do it yourself. So if you want to practice, you could start the way I did. You can either watch this video and take notes and just pause the video and then write down all this information and then study it. Or you can use the computer and do it yourself. The two websites I've used is chess.com and 365chess.com. 365chess.com. Those are the two websites I've used. So you can do that. They're both free. So the features I'm using on chess.com is free pretty much. You have to have a profile, but it's free. Game review you can only use once per day in the free version. Otherwise, you need to buy the premium membership, which I did. I bought it on Black Friday, so I got it for half off. But so yeah, so okay, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to cover in this video, and versus what I want to talk about that I'm going to cover in all my videos. So I'm trying to. It's kind of a mess. Like chess, and all the information that's out there is a real mess. And what I'm trying to do is bring order to it, and try to organize it in a way that's understandable, and in a way where and I'm trying to make it so I can figure out what should be learned first. So that way, if you guys are watching, you can be like, okay, I'll learn this first, and then this next, and then this next, and this next. And this is the best way to basically essentially have building blocks to learning the game of chess. And I also want to know how to teach it. So if I ever have in real life students, I'll know what to teach them first. So, and who knows, maybe I will write a book someday. I'm not sure. Maybe in another encyclopedia of chess, because this will take an encyclopedia probably. But I'm excited because and overwhelmed because I'm happy because I need something to do anyways in my free time. Chess is one of those things where we don't have to do it. We do it because we want to do it. And so there are people in life who have jobs and go to school, but during their free time, some people like to do nothing, or they like to watch TV, and some people like to do something. And the people that need to do something, chess is an option. And if you become really good at it, you can go pro, or you can teach. So there is a future. So those of you who are ambitious or who need to do something in their off time, the chess is a way. And I'm going to do my best to present videos that show you what you should learn in the order you should learn it. And I'm going to try to tell you why. So I'm going to be learning a lot in the process of doing these videos. It's going to take a lot of work, but I'm going to do the best I can. And yeah, it's exciting. So I do want to cover okay, so let's see. I'm trying to make these videos not too long, but long enough. Okay, it's already been 18 minutes. Okay, I'm happy. Okay. I was worried this video would only be like 5 minutes long because there's a lot of information, but it actually doesn't take that long to say the information. So, okay. Did I cover everything? All right. So I do want to cover just at least what the first moves are and what the names of the openings are. That way, if you guys feel ambitious, you could like create flashcards or something, or maybe create a worksheets of each for each opening. Just thinking about it is kind of overwhelming me. So I realize how much work I have, and it's a jungle. It's a jungle, and it's going to be tough to navigate. I'm probably just going to start with e4 because it's the most popular move, and you're most likely going to see it. But there's just so much to cover. Like if I go e4, there's 20 possible moves, and I want to know all of them. I'm probably going to start with the most popular ones because there's well-known theory, and I want to use the well-known theory along with my own personal analyzation. So I'm going to do both to the best I can. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, it just overwhelms me, and there's probably going to be multiple multiple videos per opening. And I'm going to do my best to put it in an order that can be understandable and learnable. But some videos, there's probably going to be so much information that you're going to have to pause it and probably rewatch certain ones. But I'll try not to be overwhelming. But I also don't want to waste your time. I want there to be a certain amount of knowledge in each video. Like I want this, I want people who are serious about chess to get what they're looking for, and to get a lot of information. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna start easy, and basically, the information I have is here. So what you should probably do is pause the video and write this stuff down if you feel like it. If not, then it's fine. Just going over it once. All right. So e4 is called the king's pawn opening, and it's given a rating of about 0.36. d4 is the queen's pawn opening, and also was given a rating of 0.36. Knight f3. Okay, and this is in the order of what the computer likes. So I put each move into the chess engine on chess.com, and it told me what the rating was. And then I put the rating down, and then I put it in order from highest to lowest. So the highest is e4 at a plus 0.36, and the lowest is 1g4 at a negative 1.20. But honestly, what I did on my off time was I played a game on chess.com between what I used the chess engine to help me, and I played against chess.com's best bot, a 3200 bot, and my chess engine got a win. So if your opponent doesn't know the opening, g4 is probably still playable, even though it's negative 1.20. Okay, so knight f3 is called the Rady opening. e3 is called the Fant Cruz opening. g3 is called the King's Fianchetto opening. c4 is called the English opening. c3 is called the Saragossa opening. a3 is called the Anderson opening. d3 is called the Miaces opening. Knight c3 is called the Van Geet opening. b3 is called the Nimzovich-Larsen attack. f4 is called the Birds opening. h3 is called the Clemens opening. b4 is called the Polish opening. a4 is called the Ware opening. h4 is called the Kadas opening. Knight h3 is called the Amar opening. f3 is called the Barnes opening. Knight a3 is called the Sodium attack, and g4 is called the Grob opening. And like I said, I played a game using the worst first move, and the computer got a win with this move. So I'm not saying we're going to play as good as a computer, but at the same time, your opponent's probably not going to play as well as the best chess engine, the best chess bot on chess.com. So take it with a grain of salt. It's my evaluation is that even g4 is probably playable, but practically it may be very difficult to play with. All you can do is try to learn some theory. You may have to. Okay, by the time I get to g4, it may be a very long time. So you should, if you want to know how to play g4, for instance, you may have to do it yourself, because by the time I get to it, you may may be tired of waiting. But so all you got to do is put in some work. And the work is using chess.com analysis. You put in the move g4, and then what you do is let's put g4. You go to 365chess.com, or you can use chess.com's database. But I like 360. It probably doesn't matter, but for some reason I use 365chess.com. Anyways, what you should do is start with the most popular moves, because that's probably what you're going to see first, and there's probably a reason why they were played, a good reason. So what you do is you put d5. So you go back to the engine and you play d5. And then you wait for the analysis to give you the rating of the move, and then you write it down in your notepad or your WordPad or Microsoft Word, whatever you use. You write it down like I did, and if there's a name to it, there probably won't be. It'll probably just be called the Grob opening. And then you write it down, and then you go back, you take back the move, you go back, and you say, okay, what's the second move? The second move is e5. So then you play e5. And then you see the rating, and then you write it down. You write the move, the rating, and if it has a name, you can put the name down. If it doesn't, you can leave it blank. And then you keep doing that. And it's kind of a grueling process, but there's really no other way to do it. Now, again, if you're using an opening like e4, you have all kinds of information. And another reason why I use 365chess.com is because there's the E-code codes. So you click on that, and it shows you a list of all the openings. I believe they're all here. I could be wrong. I've looked at them, but there's so many here. They're probably not all here. I mean, that's probably ridiculous, because there's like E4, there was what, 1,900,000 games, and if they're all different, then they're not all going to be here, but the core of them are here. So we were doing G4. I don't know if G4 is on this list. G4 is not really well known, and I don't see it. So, okay, not all the openings are covered. I believe the best ones are covered. All the good openings are covered. But I don't see G4. So that's the thing. With G4, there's not going to be much information. Hang on, let me go back. And we'll put G4 in, and we'll see G4. It says A00 Grob's attack. That's a related opening. And if you go to 365chess.com, it says there are games that have been played, and I think these are grandmasters. Doesn't tell us. But usually they're grandmasters. But so again, when you're doing moves that are lower on the list, most likely there's going to be hardly any information on them, and that means you're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to use the analysis board and what moves that have been played together to come up with your main lines. You're creating main lines. This is like a forest that you're starting to dive into, and you have to clear the pathway. You have to make the path. The path has not been made. Well, the path has been made. These moves have been played. So there is a path. But you have to go on the path and smooth it out and figure out what's in the forest. Are there other paths? And you're going to have to do it. Like, there's 20 possible moves, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 moves that have been played. So you're going to have to go through each one, first of all, and this is what I'm going to be doing. What I'm telling you to do, I'm going to be doing. I'm going to take each move, and then I'm going to play every move, or I'm either going to play every move, or I'm going to play all the moves that have been played. Because we want to cover everything, but at the same time we got to be practical. So I'm going to be towing the line on both of those, covering everything but being practical, because you're probably not going to be able to learn everything, but you want to start learning the things that are most popular first, because you want to learn the things that are most popular or lines that you're going to play yourself. So for instance, you don't need to learn G4 as player 2, the black player, because you're probably never going to see G4, so it'd be a waste of time to learn it. But if you're going to play it yourself, then you need to know it. So when you're playing black, you need to know the moves that are most popular first, because that's what you're going to come across most of the time. So E4 is what you're going to see most of the time. So you got to learn E4. If you maybe as white you don't want to play E4. Maybe you want to choose something that's unknown and play E3. That's fine. So you have, but as black, when you're playing as the second player, you're going to have to know E4. You're going to have to know D4. Those two alone might be enough. If you're not trying to learn everything about chess, then stick to E4 and D4. But sometimes knight f3 gets played, sometimes c4 gets played, sometimes g3 gets played, sometimes f4, sometimes b3. So in those games, you'll be in a bit of trouble, but you'll hardly ever see them. Probably less than 5% of your games. Maybe less than 1% of your games. Okay. So hopefully you've had time to write this information down or to study it. I think the only way you can do it is by making flashcards or putting this in a notebook that you can while you're sitting in your living room or something, you can study and just like put your hand over it, try to memorize it. And maybe learn the order, like E4, D4, knight of 3, E3, G3. But the thing is, like for instance, E3 was fourth according to the engine, but it's not even close. Like fourth on the popularity list is C4. So unless you're going to play E3 yourself, you probably shouldn't learn it. It doesn't make any sense because you're most likely never going to see E3. But it's exciting because no one plays E3. So it's exciting. But again, you're not controlling the center very much. So I don't know, practically, it may be a tough move to play. We're going to find out. But on the other hand, your opponent is totally out of theory. They don't know. They're probably going to play some good moves because most people know to play their center pawns and then develop the knights and the bishops. But I don't know. They're not going to know specific move orders. They're just going to be guessing. If you know the opening, so part of me wants to start with E3 because I think it could be a gold mine. It could totally throw off your opponent. It could make them think you're a beginner, and maybe you are. But if you're not a beginner, maybe you play it and you act like, oh, whoops, I didn't know. But secretly you know E3 very well. It could be a huge surprise. So it's very exciting. Now, I'm going to also try to cover gambits. Like there's I don't want to go too far into the information until the next video. So this video was intended to give you an introduction about what I intend on doing and to give you these first moves in the name of the opening. So next video, I'm probably going to start with E4, and I've already kind of I'll show you the list. Basically I did all the moves you can play against D4, and most of them have names. I think all of them have names. Almost all of them do. And so if you want, you can pause the video and write this information down. I'm probably going to cover it in the next video though, so you'll have two chances to at least two chances. Um, so the first few videos, I'm not sure if I'm just going to cover all the openings and all the moves and just tell you which ones are playable. And so half my videos are probably going to be just me telling you what all the options are and which ones are playable. And if there's a name attached to them, I'll tell you the name. And the other videos are going to be in-depth lines of each particular opening. So some of them are going to be, they're all going to have lots of information. But this is kind of a lot of information. There's like 20 moves, which is kind of a lot. But I don't know how else to cover all of them. Like, it's not that long for a video, though. So you're just going to have to pause at times and take notes or just learn from the screen, whatever way you learn best. All right. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover in this introduction. There's so much I want to cover. If you have any suggestions of what opening I should cover first or certain interesting ones, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'm really excited and I'm really overwhelmed as well. So I'm gonna do my best to make it make sense. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work. I'm gonna have to do a lot of analyzing off camera and writing it into files. And yeah, so I think that's it for now. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. And I hope you have a great day. So have a great one and enjoy and get ready to learn. Get ready to jump in this jungle of chess openings. Yeah, I hope you have a great one. Enjoy your day.